Hey guys, welcome to another video review. Today I'm going to be talking about the flagship piece in a new line by Sideshow Collectibles. It's based off of J. Scott Campbell's Fairytale Fantasies. A little bit of background then first, for those of you who may not know about J. Scott Campbell. He's a famous comic book artist. And he's been doing comic book art as well as drawings for quite a while. He has a very distinctive style, and he's famous for that. He's done a lot of work. I mean, he's known for his early work on Gen 13, Danger Girls, with Abby Chase. He did quite a long run on Spider-Man. And I think more recently he's done some work with DC Comics as well. I think he drew the cover for the Batman and Catwoman wedding, I believe. So, he's a very famous comic book artist and has done a lot of work for a lot of companies, Marvel, DC, etc. And again, he has a very distinctive style. He draws action very well, and of course he's very famous for drawing female characters in a very sort of like voluptuous way, with a very sort of cartoony, in my opinion, almost look with the face. But one thing about comic book artists is you do sort of want to have your own distinctive style, and J. Scott Campbell definitely has that. You can recognize a J. Scott Campbell comic book cover or piece of art pretty quickly. So, a couple years ago, I think he started creating these calendars based off of fairy tales, and he would take well-known fairy tale tropes and characters, and he would put his particular spin on them. Again, these fairy tales were, of course, made famous by Disney to some degree, but they existed well before Disney put their spin on things. And so Disney can't really, for instance, own the rights to Little Mermaid itself. They own the rights to their version of it, but the fairy tale Little Mermaid by Hans Christian Andersen, of course, predates Disney's version by quite a while. So he did quite a few of these calendars, and he drew as inspiration from many different fairy tales, from Cinderella to Snow White, Little Red Riding Hood. It was quite a bit, and I think I have all the calendars, and in another separate video I'll go through them to sort of show the source art. But he did, I think, at least 4 years worth. I think each year had 13 covers. There were variant covers and all of that, and they were very, very successful. He also sold prints from the actual calendars themselves. So, these were very, very popular works of art, and a lot of garage resin kit producers actually commissioned sculptors to create 3D representations of the art from these Fairytale Fantasy calendars. And Sideshow, decided to getting on that a little bit late, but they licensed officially with J. Scott Campbell to do the work. And this is their first piece. This is based off of The Little Mermaid. And this is from Sideshow Collectibles Direct. There's 2 versions of this. One that you buy from their website directly, and the other one is one that you can only get from their affiliated retailers. And that one is essentially a color swap of this one. So what do you get from Sideshow that you don't get from the retailers? Well, no, it's its own specific color. And also you get this sort of metal print as well. Now, some of you may remember the old days when Sideshow, for a lot of their exclusives, decided to, rather than give you like a switch out part, like a head or a hand or whatever, they would just include a art print with the statue. And so the exclusive of the statue was simply an art print, and the statue itself was identical to the regular version, which I never particularly liked that, because I'm not a really big fan of the art prints. They're just like basically on thick paper. I don't have the room or the inclination to frame them, and I just thought it was a little bit cheap that they never gave you like a little bit of an extra hand or something like that, or head. And Sideshow basically has gone away from that, fortunately. They've decided to sell the art print now separately. I don't know about how I feel about that. And they've gone back to basically giving you a little tiny Easter egg extra part for the exclusive statues. But I do like that part. But this one is a little bit different. It actually comes with its own little stand. And this print is actually not made out of paper, but it's made out of like a little bit of like a metal, like aluminum. And so it has a bit more of a classy design. It's a little bit more reflective. So I do enjoy that. So this is basically, it shows you the source material for the actual statue based off of J. Scott Campbell's artwork for it. So you can see sort of the penciling, and then you can see his work on the back, the front, all of that. So this is from the actual calendar itself. And then of course it's signed by by J. Scott Campbell himself. He actually did a little sketch of the mermaid, so it's nice, it's cute. And it shows it from all different angles, from the back, from the top, her right, the front, close up of the face. And I will also show you the actual calendar version itself later on when I go through all the different calendars. So, very nice metallic print, meant to be displayed next to her. So let's get to the statue itself. So, she's actually pretty small. I think probably 1/5 scale. And J. Scott Campbell has done some work with Sideshow previously with some of the Spider-Man series. So this is the 3D representation of the Little Mermaid from Fairytale Fantasies. Let's take a look at how she's put together. One thing I like is that everything is magnetized. So she comes in basically 3 parts. One is the base, and then one part with her lower legs, or I should say lower torso, upper legs, the head, and the hands are actually connected to the rocks, and the body ends here at the wrist, and that's magnetized all the way down. So it's a rather clever way of hiding the seam lines, making it look very natural, okay? And then the tail fits in separately, so it's not actually one continuous loop, and it gives the illusion that the tail's come out of the water. So looking at the base itself, I quite like it. It's sort of like this, hard to describe, sort of like this, not translucent, but it's kind of shiny resin. It's not flat, and it gives you the illusion that it's water. So it's a nice effect right there. You can see that here on the hands. There's quite a little bit of nice detail on that. It actually even shows you the rings on her hands, her bracelets, and over here, show you the rings again right here. Okay. Again, I'll do a minute or two with flash later on, so that kind of shows up that. Then you have the scales, of the lower end, her fin. This is, I think, clear plastic. It looks really nice. Right here. You have the necklace of seashells right here. Her earring. Here's her face. And then her brown hair. There's a close-up of her face. You can actually see the freckles. I think they did a really nice job with the paint, kind of giving her a very naturalistic paint job. You can see sort of the freckles on her upper shoulders as well. I'm not quite sure if that's freckles or sand. I think it's freckles. Here it goes. But it could be sand as well. So one of the nice things is her earring is free here. I think it's made out of more plasticky material. This single strand of hair is also loose, and it's also made, I think, of plastic. So part of it is resin, part of it's plastic, part of it's like translucent plastic. So it's kind of mixed media in that sense, and I think they did a really good job doing that because you don't want things to break. This is solid resin right here, as is a solid resin right here, obviously because you have to attach that to the breasts, so you don't want it to come free. So there you have it, meant to be displayed this way. Her head is turned toward her right shoulder, so you have to display her this way. If you display her on the other end, it doesn't quite work. You don't see her face. And head on, you can also have a nice display this way as well, but I think she's really meant to be displayed like that. It's a very, very accurate depiction of her from the calendar, as well as the source art, as you can see here. And so overall, it's kind of, very standard, classic J. Scott Campbell, voluptuous, overly so, kind of, cheesecake, pin-up type art. She has very, very good art design. Like, her pose is very naturalistic. It looks like she's just kind of come out of the water very playfully. She's arching her back, her tail is swishing around. She's resting on the rock over here. So, definitely very true to the comic book art right there. And a very nice contrast of materials. And again, a very good paint job. If you go close, again, you can sort of see the detailing of the face, the earrings, the eye color. I think Sideshow did a great job. The production pieces, fantastic. It is a simple statue, so there's not a whole lot I think that can go wrong. But overall, I'm very happy with it, and it displays very beautifully next to the print. I have some of the garage resin kits professionally painted as well. I have one of the Little Mermaid, again inspired by the calendar art, and I'm going to do a little review of that and then put them next to each other so you can sort of see how they look there. But here goes. Hope you enjoy that. Until next time, take care. So this is with flash on. We'll take the print out of the way. The flash is going to be very reflective off of it. So here we go again. Now just sort of taking a deeper look with the light on. Again, it's interesting, there's some statues that display a lot better their details with the flash on, others a lot better with the flash off. I think she's one of those pieces that you can get to see and appreciate a little bit more with the flash on. So here, let's take a look at her hand. You can now really nicely appreciate the detail of the rings, the fingers. Got like his pink fingernails. Again, without the flash, if I lean in like this, the phone would essentially be in the way of the ceiling lights, and all you get is shadow, so it's not very good. So you don't get as nice a contrast of colors, but you do get a nice appreciation for the detail that goes into this piece. Here are her bracelets. And then here, of course, is her hand on the other side with the rings. Taking a look at the scales right here. Here's the big tail. Again, a very nice, almost translucent right here. You can actually see my finger here. Nice work on the scales. Her hair. The seashells, sort of strategically placed to give her some modesty. And then her face, you can appreciate her green eyes. And then some of the freckle work. Her earrings, seashell earrings. Yeah, I think those are actually freckles. Right there. You see the glare here. If I go a little bit closer, back up a little bit, hopefully. Focus a little bit better. So there you have it, Little Mermaid with flash, backing up. very nice. All right, hope you enjoyed that. Take care until next time.